The kindergarten classroom was a kaleidoscope of controlled chaos. 23 5-year-olds, each a miniature supernova of energy, painting, building, singing, and generally exploring the world with the unrestrained enthusiasm only a 5-year-old can muster. Ms. Evans, a seasoned veteran of this daily delightful pandemonium, surveyed her domain with a practiced eye, a gentle smile playing on her lips. Amidst the vibrant tapestry of her class, one small figure stood out, not for her boisterousness, but for her quietude. Lily was a wisp of a girl, with eyes the color of faded denim and hair like spun moonlight. Unlike her classmates, who seemed determined to fill every available moment with noise and movement, Lily preferred the periphery. She was a sweet child, always quick with a shy smile and a helping hand, but she rarely spoke above a whisper and seemed most comfortable when tucked away in a corner, observing the world from a safe distance. But it wasn't just her quiet nature that set her apart. It was the mittens. Always the mittens. Even indoors, even on the warmest of days, Lily's hands were encased in thick, woolen mittens, usually a mismatched pair, one a faded blue, the other a slightly threadbare pink. They seemed strangely out of place amidst the bright colors and carefree atmosphere of the classroom. Like a visual representation of her withdrawn nature, Ms. Evans had noticed them from the very first day. At first, she hadn't thought much of it. Perhaps Lily was simply cold. But as the weeks passed, and the temperature in the classroom rose with the increasing energy of the children, Lily's mittens remained firmly in place. Ms. Evans, a keen observer of her students' well-being, began to feel a prickle of concern. Was Lily hiding something? Was she uncomfortable? Was there a medical reason for her constant hand coverings? She made a mental note to speak with Lily's parents. But something held her back. Lily was such a sensitive child. Miss Evans didn't want to inadvertently cause her any distress. Instead, she opted for a gentle approach. During circle time, she might casually remark on the weather. "Isn't it warm and sunny today? Perfect for playing outside without our coats and mittens." She would then glance at Lily, offering a warm, encouraging smile. But Lily would simply look down at her mittens, her small face unreadable. The mittens stayed on. Ms. Evans' curiosity grew, intertwined with a deepening sense of concern for her quiet, mitten-clad student. What secrets were those woolen coverings concealing? Ms. Evans wasn't just any teacher. She was the embodiment of patience and understanding, a haven of calm in the often turbulent sea of kindergarten. Years of experience had honed her instincts, allowing her to see beyond the surface behavior of her students, to recognize the unspoken needs and hidden anxieties that often lurked beneath. She possessed a genuine warmth that radiated outwards, drawing children to her like moths to a flame. She knew that each child was unique, a tiny individual with their own story to tell, and she considered it her privilege to help them write it. Her classroom wasn't just a place of learning. It was a sanctuary, a space where children felt safe to explore, to experiment, to make mistakes, and to grow. She fostered an environment of acceptance and kindness, where differences were celebrated and empathy was encouraged. It was this very dedication to her students' well-being that fueled her growing concern for Lily. The mittens, while seemingly insignificant, had become a symbol of Lily's quiet struggle, a barrier between her and the world. Ms. Evans knew she couldn't simply demand that Lily remove them. Such a direct approach would likely only exacerbate the situation, pushing Lily further into her shell. Instead, she opted for gentle persuasion, framing her requests as expressions of concern for Lily's well-being. "Lily, honey," she would say, her voice soft and soothing, "are you sure you're not too warm with those mittens on? It's quite toasty in here today." She would offer a gentle smile, her eyes conveying genuine care. "Your little hands must be getting sweaty. Wouldn't you be more comfortable without them?" During hand-washing time, Miss Evans would make a point of emphasizing the importance of cleanliness, explaining how germs can hide in warm, moist places. She would then turn to Lily, her voice gentle and non-judgmental. "Lily, it's especially important to wash our hands thoroughly, especially when we wear mittens all day, that we want to keep those little hands nice and clean." She'd offer Lily a brightly colored, child-sized bar of soap and a soft, fluffy towel, hoping to entice her to remove the mittens, even just for a moment. But Lily would always politely decline. shaking her head slightly and offering a small, apologetic smile. "I'm okay, Ms. Evans," she'd whisper, her eyes darting away. "I'm not too hot." And the mittens would remain firmly in place. A constant reminder of the mystery that shrouded the quiet little girl, Ms. Evans knew she had to tread carefully to earn Lily's trust and create a safe space where she felt comfortable enough to reveal whatever it was she was hiding. The warmth and patience that defined her as a teacher would be her greatest assets in unraveling the secret of the mittens. Days bled into weeks, and the mystery of the mittens deepened. What began as a minor curiosity for Ms. Evans blossomed into a genuine concern that Lily's mitten-wearing wasn't just a quirk. It was a constant, unwavering presence that seemed to define her in the classroom. The other children, initially oblivious, began to take notice. Whispers followed Lily like shadows. "Why does she always wear mittens? Does she have a secret? Maybe she's a robot." Ms. Evans gently discouraged the whispering, reminding the children of the importance of kindness and respect. But she couldn't deny the underlying tension that was beginning to permeate the classroom. Lily, usually oblivious to the chatter around her, seemed to become even more withdrawn, her eyes downcast, her shoulders hunched. Ms. Evans intensified her observations of Lily, carefully studying her behavior for any clues. She watched for subtle signs of physical discomfort, a wince, a scratch, a flinch, but saw nothing that indicated a medical issue. Lily ate her lunch without complaint. She participated, albeit quietly, in circle time, and she played gently with the building blocks during free play. There were no obvious physical ailments to explain the mittens, but Ms. Evans did notice other things, that a slight tremor in Lily's hands when she reached for a crayon, the way she carefully avoided touching other children during games, the fleeting expressions of sadness that would cross her face when she thought no one was watching. These subtle signs suggested a deeper emotional discomfort, a hidden anxiety that Lily was struggling to conceal. One afternoon, during story time, Miss Evans noticed Lily surreptitiously trying to adjust one of her mittens. The mitten seemed to be causing her discomfort, bunching up at the wrist. For a brief moment, a sliver of skin was exposed, red and inflamed. Miss Evans' heart skipped a beat. Was this the answer? Was Lily hiding a skin condition? She resisted the urge to immediately confront Lily. She knew that Lily was already feeling self-conscious, and any direct questioning would likely only make her more anxious. Instead, she decided to continue observing, to gather more information before taking any further action. The mystery of the mittens was becoming more complex, more layered. That it was no longer just about curiosity. It was about protecting a vulnerable little girl and helping her find her place in the vibrant, sometimes overwhelming, world of kindergarten. Ms. Evans knew she had to proceed with caution, with empathy, and with unwavering support. The following Monday, Ms. Evans announced a special art project, finger painting. A collective cheer erupted from the class. Finger painting was a perennial favorite, a sensory explosion of color and texture that allowed the children to express themselves freely and joyfully. Except for Lily.as, Ms. Evans explained the project: the vibrant paints, the large sheets of paper, the freedom to create whatever their imaginations conjured. She noticed Lily's reaction. While the other children were buzzing with excitement, Lily visibly recoiled. Her face paled, her eyes widened with a hint of panic, and she clutched her mittens even tighter. It was a stark contrast to the usual quiet reserve she displayed. Ms. Evans' heart sank. The finger painting project, intended as a fun and engaging activity, had inadvertently triggered a significant reaction in Lily. It was a clear indication that the mittens weren't just a matter of personal preference. They were a shield, a barrier protecting her from something she deeply feared. The incident solidified Ms. Evans' resolve to understand the situation. She knew she couldn't ignore Lily's distress, nor could she force her to participate in the finger painting activity if it caused her so much anxiety. Instead, she decided to use this as an opportunity to learn more about Lily's hidden struggles. After the announcement, as the other children chattered excitedly about the upcoming art project, Ms. Evans quietly approached Lily. "Lily, honey," she said, her voice gentle and reassuring. "Are you okay? You seem a little worried about the finger painting." Lily avoided eye contact, her gaze fixed on her mittens. I don't like finger painting," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Is it the paint, or the mess? Ms. Evans asked, trying to gently probe for more information. Some children don't like getting their hands messy, and that's perfectly okay. Lily shook her head. It's just. She trailed off, unable to articulate her feelings that Ms. Evans didn't press her further. She could see that Lily was already overwhelmed. That's all right, Lily, she said softly. You don't have to do the finger painting if you don't want to. There are other art activities you can do instead. You can draw with crayons or paint with brushes, whatever makes you feel comfortable. Lily looked up at Ms. Evans, her eyes filled with a mixture of gratitude and apprehension. Really? She whispered. Of course, honey, Ms. Evans replied, offering a warm smile. It's important to me that you feel happy and safe in my classroom. And if finger painting makes you uncomfortable, then you don't have to do it. The finger painting incident served as a turning point that it was a clear sign that Lily's mitten wearing was connected to a deeper, more complex issue. Ms. Evans knew she had to delve deeper to uncover the root of Lily's anxiety and help her find a way to overcome it. The upcoming art project, once a source of excitement, had become a catalyst for understanding. Driven by her concern for Lily, Ms. Evans embarked on a journey of research and reflection. She knew that to truly help Lily, she needed to understand the underlying reasons for her behavior, and she was determined to approach the situation with knowledge and sensitivity. Her first step was to consult with Mrs. Davison, the school nurse, a kind and experienced woman who had seen countless children pass through the school's doors. Mrs. Davison listened attentively to Ms. Evans' description of Lily and her constant mitten wearing, nodding thoughtfully as Ms. Evans recounted her observations. It could be a number of things, Mrs. Davison said, her voice calm and reassuring. It could be a skin condition like eczema or psoriasis that makes her hands sensitive or itchy. Or it could be a sign of anxiety. Sometimes children develop coping mechanisms to deal with stress or insecurity, and these mechanisms can manifest in unusual ways. Mrs. Davison suggested that Ms. Evans speak with Lily's parents to gather more information about her medical history and home environment. She also recommended that Ms. Evans research childhood anxiety and potential reasons for such behavior. Ms. Evans took Mrs. Davison's advice to heart. That evening, she spent hours poring over articles and websites about childhood anxiety, searching for clues that might shed light on Lily's situation. She learned about various triggers for anxiety in young children, such as separation anxiety, social anxiety, and fear of failure. She also read about different ways that anxiety can manifest, from physical symptoms like stomachaches and headaches to behavioral changes like withdrawal and avoidance. As she read, Ms. Evans carefully considered possible scenarios, trying to piece together the puzzle of Lily's behavior. Could Lily be experiencing social anxiety, fearing judgment or ridicule from her classmates? Was she struggling with a skin condition that made her self-conscious about her hands? Or was there something else entirely, something that Ms. Evans hadn't even considered? She resisted the urge to jump to conclusions, reminding herself that every child is unique and that there could be a multitude of factors contributing to Lily's behavior. She knew that it was important to approach the situation with an open mind, to listen carefully to Lily's story, and to avoid making assumptions based on limited information. Ms. Evans also reflected on her own teaching practices, considering whether there was anything she could do to create a more supportive and inclusive classroom environment for Lily. She thought about ways to promote empathy and understanding among her students, to encourage them to accept and celebrate differences, and to create a safe space where Lily felt comfortable expressing herself. The research and reflection process was both enlightening and humbling. Ms. Evans realized that she still had much to learn about childhood anxiety, and that she needed to be patient and persistent in her efforts to help Lily. She knew that it wouldn't be easy, but she was determined to do whatever she could to support her quiet, mitten-clad student. Inspired by her research and reflection, Ms. Evans decided to introduce a new classroom activity designed to foster self-expression and acceptance. She called it My Unique Me, and it was carefully crafted to create a safe and supportive environment where Lily and all her students might feel comfortable opening up and sharing their thoughts and feelings. The activity began with a simple prompt. What makes you special? Ms. Evans encouraged the children to think about their unique qualities, their talents, their interests, and anything that made them feel proud of who they were. She emphasized that there were no right or wrong answers, and that everyone had something special to share. She started by sharing something about herself. "I love to read," she said, holding up her favorite childhood book. "Reading makes me feel happy and takes me on amazing adventures. That it's something that makes me me." Then, she invited the children to share their own unique qualities. Some children talked about their athletic abilities, their artistic talents, or their love of animals. Others spoke about their kindness, their generosity, or their ability to make others laugh. As each child shared, Ms. Evans listened attentively, offering words of encouragement and praise to further promote self-expression. Ms. Evans provided a variety of art supplies: colorful paper, crayons, markers, paint, glitter, and glue. She encouraged the children to create artwork that represented their unique qualities, whether it was a drawing, a painting, a collage, or a sculpture. As the children worked on their projects, Ms. Evans circulated around the room, offering support and encouragement. She made a point of praising each child's efforts, focusing on their creativity and their willingness to share their unique selves. When she approached Lily, she noticed that Lily was hesitant to participate. She was sitting quietly at her desk, clutching her mittens and staring blankly at a blank sheet of paper. Ms. Evans knelt beside her, her voice soft and gentle. "Lily, honey," she said, "what are you thinking about? What makes you special?" Lily shrugged, avoiding eye contact. "I don't know," she whispered. "I'm not special." Ms. Evans gently touched Lily's arm. "Of course you are, Lily," she said. "Everyone is special in their own way. What do you like to do? What are you good at? What makes you happy?" Lily hesitated for a moment, then whispered, "I like to draw." "That's wonderful, Lily," Ms. Evans exclaimed. "You're a very talented artist. Why don't you draw something that makes you happy? Draw something that makes you you." Lily looked at Ms. Evans, her eyes filled with a flicker of hope. She picked up a crayon and began to draw. Slowly, tentatively, she filled the paper with colors and shapes, creating a picture that reflected her inner world. The My Unique Me activity was a success. The children embraced the opportunity to express themselves, and the classroom was filled with a sense of warmth, acceptance, and understanding. That Ms. Evans hoped that this activity would help Lily feel more comfortable opening up and sharing her own story in her own time. The breakthrough came during quiet reading time. The classroom was bathed in the soft afternoon light, a peaceful hush enveloping the children as they immersed themselves in their books. Ms. Evans, always mindful of Lily, noticed her sitting alone in her usual corner, her small figure almost swallowed by the oversized armchair. Lily wasn't reading. She was simply staring at the pages, her mittens clutched tightly in her lap. Sensing an opportunity, Miss Evans quietly made her way over to Lily and sat down next to her. She didn't say anything at first, simply offering a warm, reassuring presence. After a few moments, she gently initiated a conversation. "Lily," she said softly, "do you like your book?" Lily looked up, startled. "It's okay," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Is something on your mind, honey?" Ms. Evans asked, her voice filled with genuine concern. "You seem a little sad today." Lily hesitated, her eyes darting away. She fidgeted with her mittens, her face a mask of uncertainty. Ms. Evans knew that she needed to tread carefully, to create a safe space where Lily felt comfortable sharing her feelings. "You know, Lily," Ms. Evans continued, her voice gentle and soothing, "when I was your age, I used to feel insecure about something too." Lily looked at Ms. Evans, her curiosity piqued. "You did?" she whispered. "Yes," Ms. Evans replied, offering a warm smile. "I had a big gap between my two front teeth, and I was so embarrassed about it that I used to try to hide my smile, and I was always afraid that people would make fun of me." Lily listened intently, her eyes wide with surprise. She had never imagined that her teacher, the confident and caring Ms. Evans, had ever felt insecure about anything. "It took me a long time to accept my gap tooth," Ms. Evans continued. "But eventually, I realized that it was part of what made me, me. And you know what? Some people even thought it was cute." Ms. Evans' personal anecdote had a profound effect on Lily. That it created a bond of empathy between them, a shared understanding of what it felt like to feel insecure and different. For the first time, Lily saw Ms. Evans not just as a teacher, but as a person, someone who had experienced similar feelings and had found a way to overcome them. "It's okay to feel insecure, Lily," Ms. Evans said, her voice gentle and reassuring. Everyone feels that way sometimes, but it's important to remember that you're not alone and that there are people who care about you and want to help you. She paused, giving Lily a chance to respond. Is there anything you want to talk about, Lily? She asked softly. Anything that's making you feel sad or worried? Lily looked down at her mittens, her face a mixture of fear and hope. The pivotal moment had arrived that Lily's lower lip trembled, and tears welled up in her eyes. She took a deep breath, her small chest rising and falling rapidly. That it was as if a dam had finally broken, releasing a torrent of pent-up emotions. Hesitantly, tearfully, she began to explain. My hands, she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. They're yucky. Ms. Evans gently took Lily's hand, mittens and all. Yucky? She asked softly. What do you mean, honey? Lily squeezed her eyes shut, and a tear escaped, tracing a path down her cheek. They're sick, she sobbed. That's why I have to wear the mittens so no one will see them. With trembling hands, Lily slowly pulled off one of her mittens, then the other. Ms. Evans' heart ached at what she saw. That Lily's hands were covered in patches of red, inflamed skin. The skin was dry and cracked, with small, weeping sores. That it was clear that Lily was suffering from a severe case of eczema. Oh, Lily, Ms. Evans said softly, her voice filled with compassion. I see, your hands are sore. Lily nodded, her tears flowing freely now. It's eczema, she sobbed. The doctor said it's eczema, and it's really, really itchy, and sometimes it hurts, and it looks gross. Ms. Evans gently wiped away Lily's tears with her thumb. It doesn't look gross, Lily, she said, her voice firm but gentle. It looks like you have a skin condition that's making you uncomfortable, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. Lily sniffled, her gaze fixed on her hands. But the other kids will think I'm weird, she whispered. They'll tease me, they'll say I have monster hands. Oh, Lily, Ms. Evans said, pulling Lily into a warm embrace. No one is going to tease you, and if they do, I'll make sure they stop. Your hands are beautiful, just the way they are, and even if they weren't, it wouldn't matter. What matters is who you are inside, and you're a kind, sweet, and talented little girl. Lily clung to Ms. Evans, her sobs gradually subsiding. But I don't want anyone to see them, she whispered. I don't want to be different. You're not different, Lily, Ms. Evans said, her voice reassuring. Everyone has something that makes them unique, and your eczema doesn't define who you are. That it's just a part of you, like your beautiful eyes and your amazing drawings. Ms. Evans knew that this was just the beginning of a long journey for Lily, but she was determined to help her accept her eczema and to feel comfortable in her own skin. The secret of the mittens had finally been revealed, and Ms. Evans was ready to help Lily face the world, one hand at a time. Holding Lily close, Ms. Evans continued to offer words of comfort and understanding. She knew that simply telling Lily not to feel ashamed wouldn't magically erase her insecurities. She needed to validate Lily's feelings, to acknowledge that it was okay to feel sad, scared, or embarrassed about her eczema. It's understandable that you feel this way, Lily, Ms. Evans said gently. It's not easy to have a skin condition that makes you feel different, but you're not alone. Lots of people have eczema, and there are things we can do to help you feel better. She paused, looking directly into Lily's eyes. And you know what, Lily? You are perfect just as you are. Your eczema doesn't make you any less beautiful, any less talented, or any less special. You are a wonderful little girl, and I'm so glad you're in my class. To further reassure Lily, Ms. Evans shared stories of other students she had taught over the years, anonymously, of course, who had overcome similar challenges. She told her about a boy who had a stutter but went on to become a confident public speaker. She shared the story of a girl who wore glasses and was initially teased but eventually embraced her unique style. Everyone has something they're insecure about, Lily, Ms. Evans explained. But what's important is how we choose to deal with those insecurities. That we can let them hold us back, or we can use them as opportunities to grow stronger and more resilient. She emphasized that Lily's eczema didn't have to define her, that it was just one part of her, and it didn't diminish her worth or her potential. She encouraged Lily to focus on her strengths, her talents, and her positive qualities. You're an amazing artist, Lily, Ms. Evans said, smiling. Your drawings are so creative and imaginative, and you're such a kind and helpful friend to the other children. Those are the things that really matter, Lily. Those are the things that make you special. Ms. Evans also reassured Lily that she would do everything she could to support her in the classroom. She promised to talk to the other children about eczema and to help them understand that it wasn't contagious and that it was important to be kind and respectful to everyone. "We're a family in this classroom, Lily," Ms. Evans said, her voice warm and sincere. "And we take care of each other, that we support each other, and we celebrate each other's differences." By validating Lily's feelings, sharing stories of resilience, and emphasizing her positive qualities, Ms. Evans helped Lily begin to see herself in a new light. She was still scared and insecure, but she also felt a glimmer of hope, a sense that maybe, just maybe, she could learn to accept her eczema and feel comfortable in her own skin. The journey wouldn't be easy, but with Ms. Evans' unwavering support, Lily was ready to take the first step. As Lily's sobs subsided and her breathing became more regular, Ms. Evans gently proposed a plan, a collaborative effort to help Lily manage her eczema and feel more comfortable with her hands. She wanted Lily to feel empowered, to be an active participant in her own healing process. "Lily," Ms. Evans said, her voice soft and encouraging, "how about we make a plan together? A plan to help your hands feel better and to help you feel more confident about showing them to the world." Lily looked up, her eyes filled with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. "A plan?" she whispered. "Yes," Ms. Evans replied, smiling. "First, we need to find a lotion that will help soothe your skin and make it less itchy. How about we go to the store together and pick out a special lotion, just for you? We can find one that's gentle and moisturizing, and maybe even one that smells nice." Lily's eyes widened slightly. "Really? We can do that?" "Of course, we can," Ms. Evans said. "And then, we can find some fun, colorful bandages to cover your hands when they're feeling particularly sore, that we can even design our own bandages, with drawings and stickers. Wouldn't that be fun?" Ms. Evans explained that the bandages would serve two purposes: to protect Lily's skin from further irritation and to make her feel more comfortable showing her hands to others. She emphasized that the bandages weren't meant to hide her eczema, but rather to celebrate her uniqueness and to make the healing process more positive. "We can make the bandages super cool and colorful, Lily," Ms. Evans said, her voice filled with enthusiasm. "We can draw flowers, animals, rainbows, anything you want, and we can use stickers and glitter to make them extra special." Lily's face brightened at the thought of designing her own bandages. She had always loved art, and the idea of creating something beautiful and unique to cover her hands appealed to her. "And you know what else, Lily?" Ms. Evans continued. "We can talk to the other children about eczema and explain to them why your hands look the way they do. That we can teach them about kindness and acceptance and help them understand that everyone is different, and that's what makes the world so interesting." Ms. Evans' plan was carefully designed to address both the physical and emotional aspects of Lily's eczema, involving Lily in choosing her own lotion and designing her own bandages. Ms. Evans was empowering her to take control of her condition and to feel more confident about her appearance, by educating the other children about eczema. Ms. Evans was creating a more supportive and inclusive classroom environment where Lily could feel safe and accepted. Lily, still a little hesitant, but with a glimmer of hope in her eyes, nodded slowly. "Okay," she whispered. I think I'd like that." The plan had sparked a flicker of optimism in Lily, a sense that maybe, with Ms. Evans' help, she could learn to live with her eczema and even embrace her uniqueness. The following weeks were a testament to the power of kindness, understanding, and a well-executed plan. Lily's transformation was gradual but remarkable. With Ms. Evans' unwavering support, she began to shed her anxieties and embrace her unique self. The trip to the store to choose a lotion was a milestone in itself. Lily, initially hesitant, carefully examined each bottle, sniffing the different scents and reading the labels. With Ms. Evans' help, she finally settled on a gentle, unscented lotion with a picture of a bunny on the front. Designing the bandages was even more fun. Evans provided a wide array of art supplies, and Lily eagerly set to work, creating bandages adorned with colorful flowers, whimsical animals, and sparkling glitter. She even designed bandages with her name on them, proudly displaying her individuality. Back in the classroom, Ms. Evans initiated a discussion about eczema, explaining the condition in simple terms that the children could understand. She emphasized that eczema wasn't contagious and that it was important to be kind and supportive to anyone who had it. The children, true to their innocent nature, responded with curiosity and compassion. They asked Lily questions about her bandages, admiring her artwork and expressing their concern for her well-being. Instead of teasing or ridicule, Lily was met with acceptance and understanding that as Lily became more comfortable with her hands visible. She gradually stopped wearing her mittens at first. She would only remove them for short periods of time, during art projects or when she was applying lotion. But as her confidence grew, she began to leave them off for longer and longer stretches. The bandages, initially a source of anxiety, became a source of pride. Lily loved showing off her designs, and the other children were fascinated by them. Soon, other children were asking for their own cool bandages, and Ms. Evans happily obliged, providing them with art supplies and encouraging them to express their own creativity. One day, during circle time, Lily proudly displayed her hands, which were still a little red and inflamed, but were no longer hidden beneath mittens. "I have eczema," she announced to the class, her voice clear and confident. "But it's okay. It doesn't hurt, and it doesn't make me different. It just makes me me." The other children applauded, showering Lily with praise and admiration. Ms. Evans beamed with pride, her heart swelling with joy. Lily had come a long way, from a shy and withdrawn little girl who hid her hands in mittens to a confident and self-assured young artist who embraced her individuality. The journey had been challenging, but it had been worth it. The power of kindness, understanding, and acceptance had transformed Lily's life, and the entire classroom had benefited from her courage and resilience. The school year drew to a close, and Lily blossomed, no longer hidden behind layers of woolen mittens and anxiety. She was a vibrant and confident member of the kindergarten class. She participated enthusiastically in all activities, her laughter echoing through the room. The ultimate symbol of her transformation came during the end-of-year art show. The children proudly displayed their artwork, a kaleidoscope of colors and creativity that reflected their unique personalities. And there, in the center of the display, was Lily's masterpiece. A finger painting. It was a vibrant explosion of colors, a swirling mix of blues, greens, yellows, and reds. The painting depicted a field of flowers, each one unique and beautiful. Lily had used her hands to create the texture of the petals, her fingerprints adding a personal touch to the artwork. As parents and teachers admired her painting, Lily stood proudly beside it, her hands uncovered and unashamed. She smiled confidently, her eyes sparkling with joy. The finger painting, once a source of fear and anxiety, had become a symbol of her triumph over insecurity and her embrace of her unique self. Ms. Evans watched Lily with a sense of profound satisfaction. She had witnessed firsthand the power of empathy, understanding, and creating an inclusive classroom environment. She knew that Lily's journey was far from over, but she was confident that she had given her the tools and the support she needed to navigate the challenges ahead. The story of Lily and her mittens serves as a reminder of the importance of looking beyond the surface, of recognizing the hidden struggles that children often face. It highlights the transformative power of kindness and acceptance, and the crucial role that teachers play in creating safe and supportive learning environments. By fostering empathy and understanding in the classroom, Ms. Evans had not only helped Lily overcome her insecurities, but had also taught her students valuable lessons about compassion, respect, and the beauty of diversity. The experience had reinforced her belief that every child is unique and special, and that it is her responsibility to help them shine. As the school year ended, Ms. Evans reflected on the lessons she had learned from Lily. She realized that teaching wasn't just about imparting knowledge. It was about nurturing hearts, building confidence, and empowering children to reach their full potential. And she knew that as long as she continued to prioritize empathy, understanding, and inclusivity, she could make a positive difference in the lives of her students, one mitten at a time. The quiet little girl who once hid behind layers of wool had taught everyone a valuable lesson. That true beauty lies not in perfection, but in embracing our unique selves and celebrating the differences that make us who we are.